My name is Sophia. I come from a small town in Brazil. My town is quiet. The streets are small. The people know each other. Life is simple there. My family did not have a lot of money, but we were happy. My father worked as a taxi driver. My mother was a school teacher. They always told me that education was important. They said, if you study hard, you can have a better life. When I was a little girl, I had a big dream. I wanted to become a doctor. I did not know many doctors, but I loved the idea of helping people. Every night, my mother read me stories. Sometimes the stories were about doctors who saved lives. I listened with big eyes and a big heart. I wanted to be like them one day. One day, something happened that changed my life. My little brother became very sick. He had a very high fever and cried all night. My parents were very worried. We took him to the hospital. I was scared. I sat in the corner and watched. Then a doctor came into the room. He looked calm and kind. He smiled at us and said, "Don't worry. I will help your son." He gave my brother some medicine and stayed with us. After a while, my brother felt better. My parents smiled again. That doctor helped my family. At that moment, I said to myself, I want to be like him. I want to be a doctor too. As I grew older, I learned more about becoming a doctor. It is a long and hard journey. You need to study a lot. You need to learn science and math. But most of all, you need to know English. Many medical books are in English. Many classes are in English. Even in Brazil, doctors use English to talk to other doctors and learn new things. That was a big problem for me. My English was very bad. In school, we had English classes, but they were not good. I only learned a few words like hello and thank you. I could not make a sentence. I could not understand English songs or movies. One day in class, the teacher asked me to read a sentence. I looked at the book. I didn't know the words. My hands started to shake. I felt very nervous. I said, I don't know. Some students laughed. I felt terrible. That night, I went home and cried. I asked myself, how can I be a doctor if I don't understand English? That night, my father came home from work. He saw me crying. He asked, what is wrong? I told him everything. I told him my dream. I told him my fear. I said, I want to be a doctor, but I cannot learn English. He listened carefully. Then he smiled and said, if English is the problem, then we will find a way to learn it. I said, but Papa, we don't have money. He said, we don't have much, but we have enough. Your dream is important. We will help you. That night, my parents and I sat together. We talked for a long time. We looked at different places to study English. Finally, we chose Canada. Canada is a safe place. People speak English there. Schools are good. And it is not as expensive as other countries. We used almost all our savings to buy my plane ticket, pay for the school, and rent a room. Before I left, my mother held my hands and said, Sophia, we are giving you everything we have. Please don't give up. I hugged her. I said, I promise, Mama. And then I left Brazil. I had one suitcase. I had a few warm clothes. I had only a little money, but I had a big dream. I sat on the plane and looked out the window. My heart was full of hope. I said to myself, this is the beginning of my new life. When I arrived in Canada, everything felt different. I was in a new country. I was in a big city called Toronto. The weather was cold. I had never felt air that cold before. In Brazil, it is usually warm. But in Toronto, my hands and face felt like ice. I did not have many warm clothes, so I was freezing. At the airport, a man came to me and asked, "Do you need a taxi?" I knew the word taxi, so I smiled and said, "Yes." Then he asked another question, but I did not understand. I looked at him and felt nervous. I showed him the address on my phone. He read it and helped me get into the taxi. I sat inside and looked out the window. I could not believe I was really in Canada. That night, I stayed in a small room. It was quiet and cold. I missed my home. I missed my mother's cooking and my father's voice. I missed my little brother and the warm nights in Brazil. I felt very alone. I thought, why did I come here? I cannot understand anyone. How can I learn English? How will I survive? The next day, I went to my English school. It was a small school, but the people were kind. The teacher smiled at us and said, "Welcome, everyone." I was scared. I did not know what to say. We had to introduce ourselves. When it was my turn, I stood up and said, "My name is Sophia. I from Brazil." That was all I could say. I wanted to say more, but I was too nervous. Some students smiled, but a few laughed. I felt very embarrassed. That night, I sat in my room and cried again. I thought, this is too hard. Maybe I should go home. But I remembered my parents. I remembered their words. Don't give up. I knew I could not stop now. So I made a plan. I called it the Mirror Challenge. Every day, I stood in front of a mirror and talked to myself in English. I said things like, "Today I feel sad," or "I want to be strong." I did not care if my grammar was bad. I just practiced every day. Then I started a new habit. I wrote emails to myself in English. Every night, I wrote about my day. I wrote what I learned and how I felt. It helped me practice writing and new words. I also made something special. I made a vision board. On it, I put pictures of doctors, hospitals, books, and a big smile. I wrote Dr. Sophia in the middle. I looked at it every day and felt hope. In class, I asked questions even when I was shy. At home, I watched simple English videos on YouTube. I found a fun way to learn speaking. It was called shadowing. I watched a short video and copied what the speaker said. I tried to match their voice, their speed, and their feeling. At first, I felt silly, but it worked. I started to sound better and more natural. One day, I wanted to try speaking to a real person. I went to a coffee shop. I stood in line and told myself, today, I will speak English. When it was my turn, the worker said, "Hi, what can I get you?" I took a deep breath and said, "A cappuccino, please." She asked, "Almond milk or regular milk?" I smiled and said, "Regular, please." She gave me the coffee and said, "Have a great day." I replied, "You too." It was a short conversation, but it felt like a big win. I was so proud of myself. That night, I wrote in my notebook, "Today I spoke English." It felt great. I started to feel stronger. I started to believe in myself again. I still made mistakes, but I was not afraid anymore. I knew I was learning. I knew I was growing. And I knew I had to keep going. My English was getting better every day. I could understand more people. I could talk more in class. I felt more confident. But life in Canada was still very hard. I had to wake up early, go to school, study, and work part time at a cafe. I was always tired. Sometimes I had no time to rest. I missed my family very much. I missed their voices, their hugs, and the food from home. One night, I looked at my bank account. I only had $5 left. I felt scared. I sat on my bed and cried. I thought, why is this so hard? Should I give up and go back to Brazil? But then I remembered my dream. I remembered my mother's words. Please don't give up. I wiped my tears and said to myself, no, I will keep going. Later, I learned I needed to take the IELTS exam. It is a test for people who want to study in English. The test has four parts: reading, writing, listening, and speaking. It is a very difficult test. I felt nervous just thinking about it, but I told myself, Sophia, you didn't come all this way to stop now. You can do this. I made a plan. Every day, I practiced writing. I wrote short essays and asked my English teacher to check them. I recorded myself speaking and listened to my voice. I watched English news and read medical articles. I used flashcards with pictures to help me remember new words. I also joined a small online study group. We practiced together on Zoom twice a week. Finally, the day of the exam came. I woke up early. My heart was beating fast. I took a deep breath and said, "You are ready." I went to the test center. The reading part was hard. The listening part was fast. The speaking part was scary. But I tried my best. I did not stop. I did not give up. 1 week later, I got an email with my results. I was so nervous. My hands were shaking. I opened the email and looked at the score. I passed. I passed the IELTS. I started to cry again, but this time I cried happy tears. I called my parents and said, I did it. They were so proud of me. After that, I applied to a medical school in Canada. I waited for many weeks. Then one day, I got another email. I opened it slowly. I was accepted. I screamed and jumped around my room. I was so happy. My dream was coming true. Medical school was not easy. The classes were hard. The words were difficult. The professors spoke very fast, but I kept going. I studied every day. I listened to the lectures many times. I made flashcards. I drew pictures to understand the body and the medicine. I joined study groups. I asked questions. I helped others when I could. I learned so much. And after many years, I finally graduated. I walked across the stage. I held my diploma in my hands. I smiled and said in my heart, "This is for you, Mom and Dad." I became Dr. Sophia Williams. My first job was at a big hospital in Toronto. I worked with many other doctors. I helped many patients. One day, a little girl came to the hospital. She was very sick and scared. Her mother was crying. I held the girl's hand and said, "Don't worry, sweetheart. I'll help you." I talked to the mother in a calm voice. After a few hours, the girl felt better. Her mother looked at me with tears in her eyes and said, "Thank you, doctor." I smiled. I felt something warm in my heart. I was doing what I had always dreamed of. I was helping people. Now, I live in a nice apartment. I can buy food. I can pay rent. I send money home to my family. I help my parents every month. But the best part of my job is not the money. The best part is seeing people smile when they feel better. I want to say something to you. If you have a dream, don't let it go. If you want to learn English, don't stop. It is hard, yes, but you can do it. Make a plan. Practice every day. Don't be afraid to make mistakes. You can change your life just like I did. If I can do it, you can do it too. Never give up. Keep learning. Keep dreaming. And one day you will say, "I did it." Now you know my story. I was just a small girl from Brazil. I did not speak English. I felt afraid. I cried many nights, but I had a dream to become a doctor and help people. It was not easy. I left my family. I moved to a new country. I worked hard. I studied every day. I made many mistakes, but I never gave up. Slowly, I learned English. I practiced speaking, listening, reading, and writing. I used the mirror to talk to myself. I watched videos and repeated words. I made a plan. I studied step by step. One day, I passed the IELTS exam. Then, I studied medicine. After many years, I became a doctor. And now, I help people every day. I speak English with patience. I live my dream life. But the most important part is this: I did not have anything special. I was not rich. I was not a genius. I was just someone who tried every day. I worked hard and believed in myself. And now, I want you to believe in yourself too. The big lesson from this story is you can change your life if you take one small step every day. Don't wait for the perfect moment. Don't wait to feel ready. Start today. If you want to learn English, you can. If you want to get a better job or travel the world, you can. But you must start. And you must keep going. So now, let me say this to you. I am proud of you. You listened to my whole story in English. That means your listening skills are better. That means you are learning. So, congratulations, you are improving your English. Now, let's make it fun. Here is a small question for you. What helped me improve my speaking skills the most? A. Watching movies with subtitles. B. Talking to myself in the mirror. Write your answer in the comments, A or B. I will check the answers. If you liked this story, please subscribe to this channel. It helps a lot. It gives us motivation to make more stories and lessons for you. Also, if you want to support us, you can donate to help us keep the channel running. At the beginning, it's hard to make high-quality content without help. We do this for free to help you learn English. Thank you so much for watching and learning with us. See you in the next story.